Hi there, this is Liz from Lizzie's Dressing Table, and I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving if you're living in the United States. So I hope that you caught my last video, which was our visit to the Bay City Antique Center in obviously Bay City, Michigan. And I was on the big hunt for vintage perfumes. A lot of the scents that I find at the antique centers are from the 1990s, which would be considered vintage. So I hope that you caught that video. And now we're going to do the hunt and sniff debriefing. So what did I purchase? What inspired me? What did I spray that I was impressed with and was willing to shell out some bucks for? So thank you so much for joining me for this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you will consider subscribing if you like my content. Please give it a thumbs up if you're into vintage antique scents and antique shopping. So let's get started without further ado. So the first scent that I purchased was Estee Lauder's Youth Dew. And I think that this is a bottle that might have come from the 60s. I know that Estee Lauder has started using this perfume bottle again. And so, yeah, I love the color. It's very retro. And I know that it is a Chypre scent. And I surprised myself. You know, Youth Dew is not a scent that I particularly liked. I know some of my family members used to wear this scent, but I thought I'd give it a try. I saw it on one of the vendor shelves. And so we're just going to give it a sniff together. And you know, I was really impressed with the opening note. It was kind of not only aldehydic and spicy, but it was also, you know, I caught a floral note, which really intrigued me. So, just so you're aware of the background of this scent, this is considered an Oriental spicy scent. It was launched in 1953. The nose that created this scent is Josephine Catapano. She was a member of IFF, which is International Flavors and Fragrances. And in the Fragrantica.com database, she had 7 perfumes in that database. But something that's really interesting about her, and I'm reading off my notes, so if I look down, that's the reason why. She created a perfume called JHL. I don't know what that stands for, but she also created Cinnabar and La Roche's Fiji. I haven't smelled Cinnabar because I'm not big into spicy scents, but that's one from the 1970s. She also created chaps for Ralph Lauren. And another interesting fact about her is that she mentored perfumer Sophia Grossman, who was big in the 1980s and created a lot of big florals. That's what she's known for. And this is one of the scents that I've purchased in previous visits to antique centers. This is Gloria Vanderbilt. It's a big floral, and I like big florals, and I actually love putting this on my dressing table because it makes me feel like I'm back in the 1980s. But an interesting fact about Josephine Catapano, and the top notes of the scent are spices, aldehydes, narcissus, lavender, Coca-Cola. I don't know if it was the actual Coca-Cola, orange, peach, and bergamot. The middle notes are spices, cloves, cinnamon, rose, jasmine, ylang-ylang, lily of the valley, cassia, and orchid. And the base is incense, tolu balsam, oak moss, Peru balsam, patchouli, amber, vetiver, vanilla, and musk. And this goes for about $40 to $45 on Amazon. I have not been to an Estee Lauder counter to ask or to price this out, so I'm not sure how much this would cost. But my impressions were this smelled kind of dusty. I mean, it was old. I don't really know what the date is that this actual scent was produced, the bottle. Um, but it was a shipper scent, and another scent that I have in my collection is Paloma Picasso, her scent, and that's spicy too. And I thought compared to this, Paloma Picasso smelled really good, which I'm not a big fan of that scent. But the scent lasted a good amount of time. I spray my scents around 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 3 o'clock, it just smelled powdery. 5 hours later, it just kind of smelled urinous, which was not pleasant. But late in the day when I smelled my fabric that it was sprayed on, I could kind of detect the florals. I don't know how that works, but don't know that this would be a regular reach for me. But youth do, and I paid probably about $16 for this bottle. So moving on, we have, and this was in the perfume carousel, which I will insert a picture. This is Katy Perry's Killer Queen. And I am not a big fan of um, celebrity perfumes because I guess maybe I'm snobby that way. And I know there's no reason to hold that against the scents. But I was impressed with this one. This was launched in 2013, and the nose behind the scent is Laurent Lagornac. He created Lovely for Sarah Jessica Parker. I have that scent, and that's a really nice scent. That's something that I like to wear to bed. To me, it smells kind of like baby pajamas. But this scent, when I sprayed it and wore it for the day, this really reminded me of Lancome's La Vie Belle, which was also released in the early 2010s. In fact, I think it came out um, in 2012. So this was only a year after La Vie Belle was created. I will read out the notes. I know I could probably put the image of the note pyramid in the video, but I worry a little bit about copyright issues. So I will read the notes for you. They are forest fruits, plum, and bergamot. The middle notes are frangipani, jasmine, sambac, and celosia. And the base is praline, patchouli, and cashmere. So I thought this was really good. This lasted pretty much all day, but like I said, it really reminded me of Lancome's La Vie Belle, which I have a bottle of. It's a nice scent, but kind of similar to other scents that were released in the 2010s. So moving along, I saw this beauty, and I thought this was a really beautiful bottle. I love the gold and I love the blue bottle. And this is Avon Mesmerize. And when I opened it, and actually the bottle that I purchased from the Antique Center was completely empty, but it was $5. And I don't usually buy perfume bottles if they're completely empty. But to me, this smelled really, really good. And it is powdery. But what I did is I came home and I ordered a bottle off Amazon. Or no, I bought it off eBay. And, this is a vintage bottle. Avon has redone the bottle. And I just was so impressed with it. It smells to me like a stronger Chantilly, which, if you've seen some of my other videos, my grandmother wore Chantilly. But a little bit about this scent is that it was launched in 1992. There was no perfumer listed on Fragrantica.com, but the top notes are mandarin, orange, bergamot, and apple. The middle notes are myrrh and exotic spices. The base is amber and woods. So a really nice scent. This lasted a long time. I mean, for something that is old, I'm not sure when this bottle was produced, but I really like this. And it's an Avon scent. And I have a history with Avon. So, um, moving on to the next one. Now, this really impressed me. I bought this for $5, and this is JLo's Love and Light. Now, going by the bottle, I really thought I was going to smell something sheer and light and just, something that was probably something I was going to wear in the springtime. But I sprayed this and I was so impressed. And, with a lot of scents, you don't get a cap. If you buy them cheap, you don't receive, what some might consider an important part of the bottle. But for me, I'm not so much a bottle collector, which totally goes against the videos I did about the Avon vintage bottles. But this was so gorgeous. It's considered a floral woody musk. It was launched in 2011. I couldn't find a perfumer listed on fragrantica.com, but the top note is or notes are pomegranate, red currant, and mandarin orange. The middle notes are jasmine, rose, and apricot. The base is patchouli, praline, and musk. And when I went on eBay, this scent is going for between $75 and $115, which actually I can believe. I really thought that I could smell the rose actually. And uh, really, I don't know that I would pony up that kind of money for this fragrance, but this was definitely a great scent. It lasted all day. And yeah, it was just a real winner. So yeah, a treasure unearthed from the Antique Center. So the next scent that I purchased is Cody Stetson. So Stetson is a scent that I purely bought uh, based on memories of the scent. This is a cologne that my father wore. It came out in the 1980s. In fact, it was launched in 1981. It's considered a shipra scent, but to me, it smells really sweet and it evokes the memories of my dad. I remember when he would get dressed up to go out with my mom, and he would splash this on, and my mother always encouraged us when my dad came down looking really nice to say, Dad, you're a fine figure of a man. So, yeah, this brings back some really nice memories. So, I have a story about Stetson Cologne and when my parents would go out to the the Elks Club or to a bar, which they didn't frequent very often. But when he would wear Stetson, it was sort of a cowboy scent, and I remember movies from the 70s and 80s, and it was so interesting. Invariably, if someone was pictured in a bar, there would be a bar fight. So when my dad would wear this. They'd go out, maybe go to a bar. They'd come back, and I would always ask my parents, well, did you see a bar fight? So kind of goes with the mood of Stetson. So um, it's not terribly strong, but the scent has remained, and it didn't last very long, as I said. I put it on, and it was gone within like about 2 hours. But I paid $6 for it, and I had been contemplating purchasing a full bottle of Stetson, but if I can get something this big, I definitely will because I've got a lot of perfumes and colognes, and I don't need something any bigger than this. But to let you know what the notes are, the top is lavender, clary sage, lemon, bergamot, and lime. The middle notes are carnation, geranium, cedar, orris root, vetiver, jasmine, and patchouli. And the base notes are musk, honey, amber, vanilla, and tonka bean. So I really like this scent. Cody Stetson. Perfect if you want to get into a barroom brawl. So the next scent that I purchased, and this was a little more expensive. This is Caswell Massey's Newport, and this is a scent that was created for both men and women. And I don't know how much this is degraded. When I went on Fragrantica.com, people who like this scent uh, might also like XYZ. And I saw that people who like this would purchase um, Green Irish Tweed, which is probably hands down my absolute favorite men's cologne. Now, it is expensive. And Caswell Massey, which is a very old perfume house, this is pretty expensive too. And my cameraman slash hubby was the guinea pig for this one. And so it really started off kind of citrusy and smoky, but it dried down to something to me that smelled sort of powdery and lavenderish, meaning lavender. I don't know in doing my research exactly when this released, but it's considered a floral green for men and women. The top notes are green notes, bergamot, Amalfi lemon, and mandarin orange. So there you go with your citruses. The middle notes are lavender, geranium, rose, and lily of the valley. And the base is sandalwood, Virginia cedar, amber, and vanilla. So another scent that people who wear this might like is also Guerlain Vetiver, which I got actually pretty recently, or Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, or Obsession Men, which is another men's scent that I really love. In fact, I like it better than the Obsession for Women. So I personally didn't try this, thanks to Hubs for being the guinea pig on this one, but he actually asked to use it today, the day of the filming. So I guess it's a winner in his book. So yeah. And just so you know, I paid $18 for this bottle. So the next one that I purchased, actually, I will insert a picture of the bottle. I did not purchase the actual bottle that I saw. This was actually at the Americana Company Antiques Mall in Bay City. I need to get the right bottle here from my table on the side. But the next scent that I purchased and is Avon Rare Gold. I thought this smelled really good. This is not the bottle that I saw, but this reminds me a lot of a 1980s floral, particularly Elizabeth Taylor's Diamonds and Emeralds, which is a scent that I was influenced to purchase by Karina at My Perfume Map. So shout out to her. I'm a subscriber of her channel, and she's got some good ones. But big floral. And what is really interesting about this scent, and it's considered a floral aldehyde, it was launched in 1995. And this was created by Olivier Cresp, who is a master perfumer, who actually went on to create Thierry Mugler's Angel, which really kicked off the gourmand scent genre in the late 1990s. In fact, I have a bottle of Angel from the late 90s, early 2000s. In fact, I was looking for it, but it's gone missing for now. So yeah, he's got some street cred when it comes to perfume. He created also Guerlain's Champs-Élysées, which was another score at a vintage antique store that I visited a couple years ago. So this is a nice one. And then he also created Goldsmith and Banks's Silky Woods Elixir, which, if it's anything like Silky Woods, just the regular scent, I love that scent. I know there's a different perfumer, but yeah, back in the 90s, this is something that he created. The top notes are ylang ylang, peach, mandarin, and bergamot. The middle notes are tuberose and aldehydes, jasmine, orange blossom, gardenia, and lily of the valley. And the base is amber, sandalwood, vanilla, woodsy notes, and musk. So since this is a newer bottle, this pretty much lasted all day. And to me, it's just a very summery scent. I love big florals like this. I'm a huge fan of the 1980s florals, although I know this was created in the mid 90s. But yeah, this was a real winner in my book and lasted a long time. So there we go. Sometimes I don't purchase perfumes from the antique store, but I smell them and I will go on to a site online and purchase the bottle. So, and now we've got three more scents that I purchased. I just want to get things organized here. So this is Revlon Lasting, and it smelled good when I sprayed it. Unfortunately, this one, and I purchased it for it might be $8 that I spent on this. This was not a good scent. There was something that was very piercing on top, and it fortunately didn't last very long. So it just kind of petered out after maybe 5 hours. But the scent was launched in 1995, and the top notes are pear and lotus. And lotus, I was really kind of wondering exactly what it smelled like. Lotus is described as fresh, watery, clean, with sweet, floral, powdery, or spicy notes, which is not what I smelled with this. So the middle notes are osmanthus, heliotrope, and lily of the valley. The base is woodsy, sandalwood, musk, and patchouli. I could not find a perfumer listed online, but yeah, a dud. And sometimes, you run into duds. You spray something and it smells good, and then you bring it home and you think, okay, maybe it'll open up, but I'm shutting this one down. So, not good. This next scent is something that's pretty rare. This is called Amelie of the Caribbean. It's an eau de cologne, and it was created by Virgin Islands Fragrance Corporation. And when I smelled it, to me, it smelled interesting. It was $5, and for $5, I'll buy something interesting. Notes that I read online, and this is according to Perfume, the website, it is ambergris and Tonkin bean. Really bad. I just kind of dabbed this on my wrists, and it didn't last 2 hours, which is okay by me because it didn't smell good at all. So another oops, but this is something I had never seen, and there are people selling this on eBay for $20. So, but I would not sell this to someone because it just smells bad. So, a rarity, not something I've ever seen. So, and please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section if you like any of these scents, if you found any of these scents at antique centers. I would love to hear your feedback. So, the last scent that I purchased was Cremo's Palo Santo. So this is considered a scent for men. It's woody, aromatic, and it's a scent that I smell a lot lately with the perfumes. Now, this is a scent that I paid maybe $15, $16 for. And when I looked on eBay yesterday, I saw it was going for like $40. But I think this is probably something that you can purchase at Target. It was introduced in 2020. Didn't see any particular perfumer, but the scents include obviously Palo Santo. And I will put in the video a description of what Palo Santo is. It's actually a wood from South America. And not only does it have Palo Santo, it's got papyrus and cardamom. And to me, it's a unique scent. Like I said, it's something that I smell a lot in scents today. And I thought, well, if nothing else, I could buy it as a reference scent or something that I layer with other scents. And actually, they recommend that this can be paired with vanilla, with lavender, um, and a lot of other scents, citruses, orange, and it's purported to be a relaxing scent. So I paired it with Guerlain's vetiver, and that smelled really good. It was a great pairing, and I would wear this, paired with other things. I want to pair it with lavender and with vanilla and other scents. So yeah, it's an eau de toilette. And, Cremo, when I did some research on other scents that they have some great scents that they sell. Spice and black vanilla, bourbon and oak, vintage suede, bourbon vanilla, and iced citron and driftwood. So that's kind of like a Joe Malone scent pairing with those products. So, and their tagline, Cremo, is astonishingly superior. So I think this is really good for the price. Palo Santo to me, for some reason, smells like dill pickles. So, yeah. So, anyway, those are the scents that I purchased, but I have a surprise for you guys. So, hold on to your horses. So, if you've seen my previous video on the visit to Bay City Antique Center, you might have seen this beauty. So I hope you guys don't think I'm completely weird, but I took a picture of her as we were going through the antique center, and I thought, wow, that's a really interesting doll. But I thought, and she didn't come with this teddy bear. I purchased this teddy bear for her because, everyone needs a teddy bear, right? But she is a doll, and obviously, and her moniker is Gothic Dead doll, and she was created by an artist. Her name is D.L. Marian, and she is an artist out of Bucks County, Pennsylvania, specifically New Hope, Pennsylvania, which if any of you have been to New Hope, it's really beautiful. It's a historic town, but pretty artsy, pretty creative, and just a very charming little town. So yeah, I took a picture of her and I'll hold her up. And the camera, my cameraman is, you need a close up for this. So I've nicknamed her Eloise because in the state I live in, Eloise was a mental hospital. So yeah, some might call her hideous. I call her absolutely adorable and completely lovable. So yeah, D.L. Marian, you created some great work. So But anyway, that is the vintage perfume haul that I came home with from the Bay City Antique Center. And it was just a great experience. You know, it was 3 floors of antiques. It's known as Michigan's largest antique center. And it was, if you like looking at lots of different things. They've got it from accordions to chocolate molds to dolls. They also have just a huge record collection, an old record collection located on the 3rd floor. So if you're a fan of records, that's definitely a place that you'd want to check out. But yeah, it's a center that we will be going back to, and so I hope that you have enjoyed my video. And as I said, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. And we will discuss more vintage scents moving ahead. And so I thank you again for watching my video. And with that, I say goodbye. Bye.